Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here, and I am bringing you the team building video for my week 3 match in the NPA versus GalacticElliot and the Chicago Cubchoos. Last week we took on Court the Man Gamer and the St. Louis Swamperts, and I was able to walk away with a pretty solid victory thanks to the solid work put in by the homie Garchomp, who was able to set up Swords Dance on a Fortress and of course finish off the rest of the match, giving me a solid 4-0 victory. This week, the competition gets no easier. It could possibly be getting harder here. The teams do not let up. And as you can see, we have a layout this time. It's not all getter rigged. I have a webcam thing. I have a game screen thing and opponent's team. So it's all looking good this time. Thanks to Melly, of course, as always. So first off, let's take a look at the opponent's teams again. GalacticElliot and the Chicago Cubchoos. So we've got Azelf, Mamoswine, Vaporeon, Medicham, Skuntank, Lantern, Mega Venusaur, which is a pain, Arcanine, Mismagius, Aerodactyl, and Licky Licky. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go through each of their Pokemon, tell you what they can do. That way you guys, if some of you are looking at it going, I wonder what this does. I know most of you won't, but just in case, it helps you guys out. So first up, Azelf. Very good Pokemon. 115 base speed, solid special attack. He can do a lot of different things. He can be a really supportive set with Stealth Rocks, with something like T-Wave / Toxic, with Taunt. That's always a thing. He can be a Nasty Plot setup. Nasty Plot, Psyshock, Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Thunderbolt. Tons of coverage on this thing. It is, to me, the best of the Lake Trio. It can be an explosion set. I've seen it before. It can do basically a lot of different things at 115 base speed. It can be specs. You can even throw a scarf on it. Pretty weird, but you can. It does have access to U-turn, which makes it a fast ability to pivot. So good Pokemon overall, and one that definitely scares the team. Next up, Mamoswine is someone I'm very, very familiar with. Mamoswine, part of maybe my most well-known EU team, the one that uses Darm in it. Mamoswine does a lot of stuff. Well, Mamoswine does a couple of things, actually, but the problem with Mamoswine is he does them so well, it's kind of hard to stop. So right off the bat, Mamoswine's at 80 base speed, which makes him access to Scarf, makes him access to Life Orb, makes him access to Ban. The dude gets Stealth Rocks, the dude gets Thick Fat, meaning he's not weak to fire, and he walls Ice, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Knockoff, Superpower, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. Even has Icicle Spear. It has access to being a mix set with Freeze Dry, which is definitely doable in this matchup. Gyarados is on my team, so that's a threat. And of course, he can set up rocks as well, which is only 2 Stealth Rockers, but I'm assuming both will be coming. Next up, Vaporeon. Vaporeon can be a problem. Typically more of a special wall, but can be run as a physical wall at the same time thanks to its high HP. Doesn't do a whole lot outside of being really annoying. Scald Spam, can Ice Beam, Wish, Protect, of course, so he can Wish past Toxic. He has access to Heal Bell, so he makes a really good Cleric. Water Absorb. With Protect, Vaporeon pretty much walls Gyarados completely, which could be a problem, so we'll see what happens there. But a good Pokemon, definitely a good use for him. Medicham, the non-Mega variant, still has access to Pure Power, we all know that. Pretty solid coverage, I believe also 80 base speed. He can be banded, he can be scarfed. Of course, he has access to Bullet Punch, which makes a big problem for Deancey, who's double weak to Steel. Or quad weak to Steel, as you say. High Jump Kick, Psycho Cut, Zen, all the elemental punches. Like I said, Bullet Punch. This guy has coverage, and he can definitely run the right moves to deal with my team. As a Scarfer set, could be somewhat of a problem. Skuntank, his only true hazard remover on his team with access to the Fog. Skuntank's a little bit of a niche Pokemon. It's a little annoying. It doesn't actually have access to Knockoff as a Dark type, but of course it gets Sucker Punch and Pursuit, which could be big considering I have 3 Psychic types on my team, all of which would be looking to switch out on it. So we'll have to pay attention to that. Of course, it has access to, like I said, to Fog. It loves to be mixed with Fire Blast. It has access to Poison Jab. Like I said, to Fog, so this thing could definitely pull some work on my team. I don't know how much I expect Skuntank to be a part of his team, but it could be because of the hazard removal thing. Lantern, another Pokemon not sure I'm expecting here. Vaporeon kind of will serve a role as a water wall better than him. Vaporeon and Lantern both would kind of be brought as like a Gyarados counter sort of thing. Lantern can't top Earthquake, but either way, Lantern's a really good special wall, has access to Thunder Wave, of course. Scald can grab burns, it has Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, typically run as a pretty much special wall, not access to a lot of recovery, but can get rest. Could of course be Resto Chesto, which could be a problem. Not super concerned about Lantern. I have ways to deal with it if it does come, but I'm kind of thinking it won't. Maybe the biggest threat on his entire team, Mega Venusaur. Dude is a monster. I think 85 base speed, if I'm not mistaken. Thick Fat, of course, meaning it's no longer weak to fire or ice. He can be super offensive. He hits really hard. He can be super defensive. He's really super bulky. This thing's one of the best Pokemon in the OU tier. Very much a pain to deal with. Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain, of course. Synthesis. Hidden Power Fire is a common set on him. I doubt he runs it on my team, but could. Sleep Powder. Did I say that? I don't know. But he gets a lot of stuff. And he's really hard to deal with. Very easily can wall stuff on my team. Even like a Swords Dancing Garchomp isn't going to hurt it too bad. He can wall Jirachi for some portion of the time if he's a physically defensive set. He can beat Celebi because of Sludge Bomb, of course. He's got some power on him. He beats Drapion. He beats Virizion. He can outdo Rotom. So definitely expecting him. I do have 3 Psychic types, which could sway him from bringing it just a little bit because his only immunity to Psychic is Skuntank, which to me is somewhat of a liability, but could definitely be bringing it. Arcanine, really good UU Pokemon. Does two things mainly, either pure offensive or pure defensive with Intimidate. Pretty much both run Intimidate most of the time. Of course, the defensive one has access to Flare Blitz and Flamethrower if that's your kind of thing. E-Speed's always nice. Morning Sun, Will-O-Wisp. The offensive one has access to, like I said, Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Close Combat, Bulldoze even, kind of rare, Crunch, or Extreme Speed as I said. Both of them can do work against my team. I don't have great options for Will-O-Wisp spam on my entire team. I have a Magic Bouncer and Diancie. I have Magic here and Celebi, but he's Grass. So I don't have a great switch in for Will-O-Wisp spam, so we're gonna have to work around that. And of course, the offensive one could be Scarf, Banded, Life Orb, and all that can be a problem to my team as well. Mismagius, 105 base speed, I think 105 special attack as well. Pretty good Pokemon. I've run one in the past. It also does a lot of things. Again, Scarf, Specs, both very doable. Has the moveset for that easily. I believe my Specs one used to run Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Power Gem for Charizards. Of course, that's not relevant here. And Shadow Ball, or I said Shadow Ball. What else did I run? Energy Ball, maybe? I don't know, but he gets Thunderbolt and all sorts of stuff like that as well. He also makes a very good kind of supportive defensive set with Will-O-Wisp. Again, sort of a problem. He gets Pain Split, he gets Hex, he gets Destiny Bond. So again, could be a pretty big problem if he brings it. We'll see what happens. Aerodactyl, probably the one I'm least expecting here. Aerodactyl is a decent Pokemon when not Mega, but as it's not really it doesn't really have offensive power as a regular set. Yeah, obviously that's safe for Mega Aerodactyl, but I have run a lead one before that isn't Mega. I think mine was Stealth Rocks. It has access to Taunt, it has access to Defog. It still has pretty decent moves. Stone Edge, of course, unfortunately doesn't get really good Flying Stab. But it does get a good chunk of stuff, including Earthquake, the Elemental Fangs, Iron Head, Crunch, stuff like that, all very doable. And it is very fast. It does outspeed my entire team at its base. So definitely an option, but we'll see what happens. And his final Pokemon is Licky Licky, a Pokemon that did a lot of work last week for him against Blue. Again, this can do the same stuff as Vaporeon for the most part. Wish Pass, it can Heal Bell, it can Body Slam for paralysis and instead of Scalding for burns. He can knock off support, which is always good. He can be physical, he can be special. He's got a lot of options here. Definitely something I can fierce, definitely something I can work around. But it's a good Pokemon, and after what it did for him last week, there's a very good option, a very good chance that he does bring it. Okay, so that is his team. So without further ado, guys, it's now time to show you my team and what me and my head coach Reiki decided to bring for this particular matchup. And just like last week, I'll be showing you each individual Pokemon and why we're bringing it. This is not my team. My team starts right Here, the first pick for this team is going to be Garchomp. Garchomp was the MVP of Week 2, securing 4 kills, and actually after 2 weeks is part of the second the second best, I think they put it, offensive core, because it combined with X-Blood has a combined 8 kills, second place in the league behind, I forget who has it. He has a Bisharp, and I think Galvantula has like 9 kills overall. Bisharp carrying 6 of those by himself. So they both have 4, but he was the MVP. Last one was a Sub-Swordsman set. This one's almost the same exact set, except for a couple of differences. He is Jolly again. Rough Skin because there's no reason to carry Sandstream here. Lumberry. Now, we started with Yachi from Mamoswine, but I determined that Mamoswine wasn't as big as a threat as potential Willow spam. So we switched to the Lumberry instead. This gives me a switch in for Will-O-Wisp, even if it's only once. You can also soak up a Sleep Powder from Venusaur, can soak up Will-O-Wisp from Mismagius, can soak up Scald Burns from Vaporeon or Lantern. So that, I feel like that's a good idea for this team. He is running, I actually don't have the EV spread set here. It is, excuse me, 52 HP, 252 attack, and 204 speed. 204 speed allows it to outspeed max speed offensive Arcanine Jolly. That way, if it is the offensive set, we still outspeed and we can hit it hard with Earthquake. Swords Dance, EQ, Stealth Rock, and Dragon Claw. Same moveset except for you replace Substitute with Stealth Rock. He is the rocker for the team. That rocks do a lot to his team. Like I said, he only has 1 true hazard. He has 2 with Arrow, but So his 1 true defogger would be Skuntank, which does not want to come into an Arcanine. Garchomp, I'm an idiot. He should put in a lot of work. Not necessarily the same amount as last time, but he's definitely good. And this thing can do a lot of work against this guy's team, including being able to beat a specially defensive Vaporeon as well as Lantern. Skuntank, it can outdo Medicham. If I get set up and he gets cocky with some Sleep Powders, it can fight Venusaur, of course, Arcanine, Licky. Lot of stuff there for him, and I'm ready to use him. So, second Pokemon on the list is actually making its debut. So far, we've used 9 out of 11 Pokemon. Only 2 have missed the team so far, and one of them is still missing the team this week, but this one is not. Making his debut in Week 3 for the Blazikins is my Tier 1 pick, Jirachi. Jirachi's a pain in the booty hole. We all know this. This set is pretty cool. I like it. It's going to be Jolly. It's going to be Serene Grace, of course, and Choice Scarf. Its EVs are 156 HP, 252 attack, and 100 base speed. That allows him to outspeed max speed Scarfed Medicham, in case that is what he's bringing, which could be a big deal because obviously Medicham can be really powerful, even with Jolly Scarf with high jump kick because of pure power. He's carrying Heart Stamp, which is an event move. He gets Zen Headbutt. Both of them can flinch. Same amount of chance to flinch. 60% with Serene Grace. Heart Stamp, however, can't miss. And I don't really need a little bit of added power from Zen Headbutt. Venusaur still won't be able to fight me too badly. Zen will Heart Stamp will do exactly what I need to do. We don't need that excess power for the chance to missing. Iron Head, of course, same thing, just stab, 60% chance to flinch because of Serene Grace. Healing Wish can be really big. We'll explain that a little bit later, but of course that'll make me faint. And whatever I switch into will be fully healed, status is removed, all that stuff. We'll explain that in a second. And of course U-turn because it's going to be faster than his entire team outside of Scarf Magius or really that Scarf Azelf for whatever reason. So makes a good pivot, can get out there, get me some momentum. So of course that is the play, and I'm very excited to bring this. I'm wanting to bring it. I don't plan on needing RNG with the Heart Stamp on the Iron Head, but it is definitely an option. Always an option with Jirachi. Pick number 3 here is making his 3rd match. 3 out of 3 so far is the one everyone didn't think was going to do so much work and has done a ton so far and will be huge today. Tinkerbell the Celebi. Celebi is possibly the MVP of this match, and let me explain to you why. He is timid, natural cure, of course, which gives me another Willow switch in if I need it. And leftovers, the EV spread on this guy is actually pretty weird. It is going to be 252 HP, 156 defense, while... Actually, I think this is meant to be bold. I'll have to ask Reiki. It might mean to be bold. look forward to that. I'll have to ask, but no. But for now, look at it as timid and 100 base speed. Now, again, this is exactly like Jirachi in a sense. It is built to outspeed Max Speed Mamoswine and a non-scarfed Medicham if that's what he decides to bring. And this is the MVP. I'm calling it now. I'm going to try to make this thing the MVP. It's going to recover Calm Mind, Giga Drain, and Psychic. This thing could be huge. Okay, 1. Vaporeon Lantern. Do nothing to this at all. No Scald Burns, no matter. The only thing that can possibly happen to me is Ice Beam Vaporeon, which won't be that strong, and I can set up Calm Minds in its face. It 1v1s Mega Venusaur because it outspeeds it. It beats Licky Licky after Calm Minds. It beats Medicham because its defensive spread, even an Adamant Ice Punch barely does over 50%. Same thing with Alzelf. Alzelf can be strong, but after a couple of Calm Minds, Alzelf can't do that much. Even Fire Blast is not a 2-hit KO after 2 Calm Minds. +2 does 1-hit Venusaur. Giga Drain beats Lantern. Giga Drain beats Vaporeon. Defensive Arcanine cannot do so much. Offensive Arcanine will outspeed me. Could be a problem, but we can work around that. Magius, after a couple Calm Minds, not going to do much. Arrow could be a solid threat. And Skuntank will be the one thing that can maybe deal with this. If he does not bring Skuntank, this thing has no solid counter. And I'm not very scared of Skuntank, so this thing could be huge. I will have to see about it being bold, if it was meant to be bold or timid. I think we had it set to bold, and no, he had it timid the whole time. Okay, so maybe it was timid the whole time, and I'm just dumb. I thought it was supposed to be bold, but whatever. Timid works just the same. It does, like I said, barely outspeed Mamoswine and Medicham at max speed. So, 4th Pokemon going over here. I believe this is his 3rd match as well. The only 2 that have been in all 3 at this point, and he is going to be my boy Gyarados. Gyarados has been really threatening to both of the first 2 matchups, but because of the play of other Pokemon, Garchomp in week 2, Exploud plus Celebi's Baton Passing in week 1, we haven't actually need to open him up yet. This is the same exact situation, okay? Jolly, Intimidate, because Moxie's not necessary. Leftovers, I believe he's just straight 252. Yes, he is 8 HP, 248 attack, and 252 speed. Pretty straightforward. Waterfall, Dragon Dance, Bounce, and Substitute. This guy has 1 to 2 counters. 1 is going to be a Water Absorb, or not even, version of Lantern. Because I'm not carrying Earthquake, but remember, he'd think Earthquake is an option and would scare him. 2, Protect, specifically Vaporeon, which is obviously a thing because it can run Wish. Protect would obviously be helpful, so that also counters me completely. But other than that, a +1 Gyarados beats Azelf, Mamoswine, Medicham, Skuntank, Lantern with Earthquake, but it doesn't. Venusaur, Arcanine, Magius, Arrow, and Licky Licky all at the same time. So if he doesn't bring one of the 2 water types, or if I'm able to use Celebi, which works around him perfectly, to work around them and get them out of my way, or if for some reason I'm able to figure out the Vaporeon, he brings that, it doesn't have Protect for some reason, Gyarados can sweep. Now again, I have enough options on my team to where Gyarados does not absolutely have to do a whole lot. In fact, in test runs of this team, we ran 3 or 4 test runs, Reiki running different teams and running a little bit different sets. I won all of them, and I did not need Gyarados ever. I pulled him out a couple of times for Intimidate, but for the most part, he was completely unused. So we actually debated running a couple of different sets like Rest Talk, Thunder Wave, Resto Chesto actually, but we did settle on this because it can sweep his team if we get rid of Vaporeon or Lantern, or if he does not bring him. We'll see what happens. But he's in the back, and he's a big deal. Pick number 5 here will be making his 2nd appearance. He made an appearance in week 2 as well, and that will be Drapion. And this is a really interesting set that I came up with the mon, and he came up with the item that kind of threw me off. We were starting off with a max specially defensive set with Black Sludge, but he mentioned Assault Vest, and I actually really like that. It's Jolly Battle Armor because it doesn't need Sniper, and Assault Vest, its EV spread is again very specific, 252 HP, 116 special defense, that's very bulky, and 140 speed, which allows it to outspeed, again, same thing, max speed Mamo and non-scarf max speed Medicham. We're barely focusing on those base 80s on this one. He's got Knockoff, Pursuit, Aqua Tail, and Earthquake. Knockoffs for obvious reasons. It makes a really good move. Now, running calcs against both +2 Mages and +2 Azelf, it lives any of their hits easily, and even it's got no investment. And on the offensive sets, Knockoff one hits both of them without any investment. After rocks, I think it's a low chance on Azelf, but after rocks, it's like a 90-something% chance. So without even investment, so he can switch on nasty plots. Pursuit is for obvious reasons. If anything's at low health, and it's specifically Mages or Azelf or anything in general, if it's sitting at low health and I know it needs to switch out, whether it's a choice lock Medicham or Vaporeon or Lantern or whatever it is, we can just Pursuit it to death. Aqua Tail is built literally just for Mamoswine. Jirachi does not quite OHKO an offensive Mamoswine with Iron Head because it's not quite that strong. But almost any chip damage at all will allow Iron Head to OHKO. Knockoff would be the play most of the time, but in certain situations, Aqua Tail is a play because it would 2-hit KO. I am faster. So if he gets cocky, if he makes a switch in, we can catch him. And Earthquake is for a couple of things. It's for Lantern. It can stop Arcanine, or it can do some damage to Arcanine. It's for Skuntank in case he wants to bring that as well. So pretty solid set, and this thing is mainly used for Azelf or Magius. If Azelf is in the game and it dies, I don't really need Drapion anymore. He actually will probably become fodder, but he is my main switch-in for Azelf at the current time. Of course, Dark Immune to Psychic. The only move that Azelf really can carry that's going to do a massive chunk of damage quickly is actually Fire Blast. I mean, you'd have to be Life Orb for that to really matter. And finally, I mentioned him when I mentioned Garchomp. He's making his second battle as well. He was the MVP of Week 1, and along with Garchomp, he makes the second strongest offensive core to this point in the NPA, and that is the homie Exploud. Look at this set. Look at that set. Look at that set. 2 moves. Look at it. Focus on it. Yes, this is a thing. Modest, Scrappy because of Magius, Choice Specs, Boom Burst, Sleep Talk. That's it. 156 HP, 52 special attack, 100 speed. He is built to barely outspeed a defensive Venusaur specifically. That is basically all it's for. It will also outspeed defensive Skuntank, I believe. And it outspeeds Medicham, or not Medicham, Vaporeon, Lantern, stuff like that. Licky Licky, already faster. So I'm no guarantee he brings on minimum speed Venusaur. He could, but it's not guaranteed. Even if it's defensive, he can run just a little bit of, he might just run a tad bit of speed, which will allow him to outspeed me, but I am built for Venusaur, and I only need these 2 moves. Find the Boom Burst switch in when he's Choice Specs. Ready? Azelf, Mamoswine, Vaporeon, Medicham, Skuntank, Lantern, Mega Venusaur, Arcanine, Magius, Aerodactyl, Licky Licky. What's the switch in? None. There is none. Everything on this team either gets 1 hit or 2 hit. The only thing that can switch in, live, and outspeed potentially is literally Venusaur. Everything else dies in 1 hit. Vaporeon takes 2 but is not faster. Licky takes 2, not faster. Lantern takes 2, not faster. Why Sleep Talk? It's obvious. Venusaur. It makes me a switch in for Sleep Powder that he will not see coming, and this is the reason we're on 2 moves. If I have to click Sleep Talk, the only move that can happen is Boom Burst. It's not a roll, it's no luck. We could have put random Ice Beam Flamethrower on it, but all that really would have done is made Sleep Talk RNG instead of guaranteed. We ran this in a practice run. I Slept Talked. I had Subwoofer 1v1 in against Venusaur, and I clicked Sleep Talk. He outsped me and clicked Sleep Powder, and I hit him for 80% instantly. And then what do you do at that point? You'd have nothing. Even if I switch in on a Sleep Talk, he will be on a Sleep Powder. He will think he has free turns. He could try to Synthesis if he's low HP. He could try to switch into like Azelf or Magius to set up a nasty plot on a Sleeping Exploud. Very, very potential plays. I will click Sleep Talk. One of them will die if that happens. He's got no switch in for Boom Burst, and I have a way to counter sleep just in case. And I mentioned it before, Healing Wish on Jirachi is huge for this reason alone. There's only two Pokemon, that have the potential to straight up, actually three technically, to straight up OHKO Exploud instantly. That'll be Mamoswine with if he carries Superpower. That's the kind of technical one. I doubt he does that. Medicham, of course, and offensive alone, close combat Arcanine. A lot of his team will rely on chip damage. As Azelf comes, I think it gets Focus Blast, but with all the Psychic types I'm running, specifically Celebi and Slowking on my team, I really highly doubt it carries Focus Blast. It will chip me. Mamoswine somewhat chips me. Vaporeon for sure. Skuntank, Lantern, even Venusaur. Defensive Arcanine, Magius, Licky, all of them deal chip damage, and he has no switch in for Exploud. So if he deals a little bit of chip damage as a sacrifice, say, I'm not going to let him high jump kick me, of course. So say he switches in, Licky hits a body slam. I don't get paralyzed, hopefully, okay? It dies. I'm sitting a little low. A little bit later, maybe he hits a Fire Blast with Azelf, okay? Maybe. Or a Dazzling Gleam or something to that effect. I kill that too. It's okay for him. He lost a couple Pokemon, but he's got me down to around 25-30% health. He'll be fine. All it takes is one more. Then, later on, Jirachi outspeeds his entire team. Healing Wish, his move fails. We go into Exploud, and all of a sudden, the potentially paralyzed, potentially burnt, potentially put to sleep, low health Exploud is crystal clean, perfect, and he has to re-deal all the chip damage again, and at that point, it will be far too late. This guy is also definite contender for MVP of this game. But my pick for it, I said it before, is gonna be Celebi. Because it just deals with his team so very well after a couple of Calm Minds. And I can easily set up Calm Minds against Vaporeon and Lantern without question. The only way they get stopped is Skuntank. Almost definitely. Okay, so I think, guys, that about wraps up this version of the team builder. So to recap, we have Garchomp, Jirachi, Celebi, Gyarados, Drapion, and Exploud. Is your week 3 team. Virizion, still the only Pokemon to not be used yet. We definitely have plans for him later, but for now, he will still remain unused because we just have not needed him quite yet. I'm very confident in this team. I definitely have the ability to win this match, 100%. This is on me. The team is built very well. Loving it, so we'll see what happens in the match. Of course, that will take place. It'll be uploaded on Sunday, tomorrow, from the day I'm uploading this. So I hope to see you guys there for that, of course. And I guess that's about it. So as always, guys, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch the video. Always greatly appreciated. Make sure you drop a like. If you have any questions about the team or anything in general, just make sure you leave a comment with a question. I'll answer whatever questions you have. And I will see you guys on week 3 of the NPA against GalacticElliot and the Chicago Cubchoos. Alright? Alright, thank you guys for watching. Peace, Ramen Nation. See you guys later.